lights began to dim as Chief Brahmin climbed through the window and Harding covered McMurphy's head with a blanket. By the time Chief was out of sight and Harding had left the stage, the lights had changed from a standard blue to a darker blue. This darker shade of blue was bright enough for the stage crew to move McMurphy's gurney through the double doors, but dark enough to conceal the faces of those moving the gurney. After the gurney passed through the double doors, the stage went completely dark. We got ready for our curtain call in the dark. Being the third night, this had become routine. The lights returned and my group began to walk on stage. We were met with a standing ovation for our third and final night of our high school production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I turned to my left and looked at the faces of Nurse Ratched, Chief Brahmin, and... Had Chris missed his cue? 30 seconds had passed, and Chris still did not come through the double doors. Someone from the stage crew shouted out over the music to just bow without him, to which we did. We then went backstage, and almost simultaneously we all asked the same question. Where is Chris? To which our stage manager answered, we don't know. We began searching the wings. However, that quickly proved futile, as there weren't too many places to hide. We exited the auditorium and checked the hallways. A crowd of people greeted and applauded us, however, Chris was nowhere in sight. We all decided that he must have gone home and decided to just forget about it. Unlike everyone else, I had not yet changed out of my chronic outfit, and I went to the green room to change. When I finished changing, I heard laughter. I traced the sound to a doorway leading out of the green room and into a choir room. Upon opening the doors, 5 sets of eyes turned on me. It was the stage crew, dressed all in black. One of the girls turned towards me and asked, "Are we needed?" "Needed? The show's over," I said. They all exchanged worried looks. "Over? But we never heard our cue from Samantha." "I wonder why," I said sarcastically under my breath. I decided to leave, figuring that my little investigation wouldn't go anywhere. I got into my car and headed to the after party. I was halfway there when something occurred to me. If the stage crew had missed their cue, then who had moved Chris's gurney? The party was canceled, and the police were called in for an investigation. Over the weekend, they watched the security footage that the school's cameras provided. Surprisingly, this proved to be ineffective. Our school's theater has 4 exits. The front entrance, one to the far left, one to the far right, and one backstage. 3 of these exits have constant surveillance. The only exit that did not have surveillance was the one backstage. However, the hallway that it leads to has a camera good enough to distinguish faces. The only conclusion the police could come to was that he had gone down the staircase located in the left wing. The stairs led to a large room constructed of cement and coated with dust. It had no light save for whatever light came through the top of the staircase. The only exit, other than the stairway entrance, is a small opening located near the ceiling. This window was just big enough to fit 2 people on their hands and knees. The opening leads to an interior stretching the length of the stage above. This interior is only large enough for someone to squat inside. At the front of the stage lies an opening in the stage, in which the speakers are placed. The police were convinced that Chris had walked down the stairs, hoisted himself into the opening, and then emerged from the bottom of the stage. From there, he blended into the crowd who was swarming the stage after the curtain call. He probably left the theater surrounded by a crowd of people. That would explain why they could not find him in the blurry security footage. After speaking with his parents, the police had reason to believe that Chris did not want to be found, as he had many fights with them. They concluded that Chris was a runaway and was probably long gone. Despite this report, I still had 2 questions that had yet to be answered. Why did the stage crew miss their cue from Samantha? And if the stage crew did not carry Chris off stage, who did? I decided that I would ask her first thing tomorrow morning. When I finally ran into her at school, she was cheerful as usual and said hello. I responded with a hello, but got straight to the point. "The stage crew said that they never moved Chris's gurney from the stage," I said. "They said that they never got their cue from you." Her expression turned from a cheerful to nervous, and nervous to terrified, as if something she had banished from her memory was slowly returning. "Oh, really?" she said nervously. She started to avert my gaze, but I pressed on. Do you know why you forgot to tell them? She looked straight at me, however it did not seem that it was I that she was focusing on. Rather, she was staring at the scene in her mind as she was recalling something horrific. They were dark, she managed to pronounce. They were darker than the shadows on the wall. They were humanoid, but not human. I began to give her a skeptic look. But they all wore masks, Greek comedy masks. They came up the stairs and ran in a way that wasn't natural. They ran to the double doors that led to the stage. Within a short time, they returned backstage with the gurney. Chris sat up from the gurney and smiled, probably realizing that his performance was over. Then before he could even react, they grabbed him and sprinted on elongated backward-facing legs, and almost all of them had descended the stairs when one of them stopped and looked right at me. His comedy mask had a welded grin, but I swear it really was smiling at me. It raised a single finger to its carved mouth in a sort of hush gesture, and then ran off into the stairs below. When she finished, it was as if she had been broken from a trance. She then looked at me and her cheerful smile returned. I'm sorry, I don't remember what I was talking about. I simply stared at her, amazed at her state of denial. Nothing, I said. And with that, I got up and nearly sprinted towards the auditorium. I was tired of uncaring stage crew members, less than satisfying police reports, and nervous breakdowns. I wanted the truth.